Hello and welcome to the Central Huddle. I'm your host, Chris Cuellar. With me, as always, reporter and columnist for the Iowa Hawkeyes, Chad Leistikow. Chad, it is late in the basketball season. We have just a few weeks, and the Hawkeyes are still in the Big Ten title picture.
Oh, yeah.
But things are looking a little edgy. The team-only or players-only team meeting it drew the headlines yesterday. Tell me a little bit about that and what you picked up from Iowa City.
Well, I think first things first, it's not something they really wanted, I don't think, broadcast.
Sure.
I think that oftentimes you hear players-only meeting, it's a sign of distress. I think the Hawkeyes feel like there's a few little things they need corrected, and I think the guys on the team, like Woodbury, Gazelle, Utah, Clemens, that experienced the free fall of 2 years ago, I think they just want to kind of nip it in the bud a little bit here. Of course, the Hawkeyes are coming off that loss to Penn State, their first real bad loss of the year. All their other losses have been the good losses,
yeah.
the good kind. And so I don't think it's as big a deal as maybe it sounds like, because they do still control their own destiny.
Sure. Is it kind of a way to nip the panic in the bud then, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, Woodbury said there is no panic.
Okay.
There is still some confidence with this team. I think they wouldn't say this, but I think it helped that the day after Iowa lost to Penn State, winless in the Big Ten, Minnesota beat Maryland, and of course Iowa had struggled with Minnesota a couple days earlier, so maybe that softened the week's performance a little bit in that way. And again, Iowa, although a half game back of Indiana, if they even go 3-1 in the next 4 games and beat Indiana, they're still co-champions of the Big Ten.
Well, we're doing this on a Tuesday, big game Wednesday night at Carver Hawkeye. Tell me about how the game against Wisconsin kind of figures into the race a little bit.
Well, to me, this game is going to tell us what the Hawkeyes are made of for the stretch run. This is a game they've got to have against a Wisconsin team that's playing very well, but I look at them kind of like Michigan State earlier in the year, a program that Iowa's had a tough time hurdling. Of course, Iowa swept Michigan State early in the season. Wisconsin's won 5 in a row against Iowa. I mean, of course, Wisconsin's been good.
Yes.
Very good.
Final Four program.
No shame in losing to them, and some of those games have been close. But this is a game, if you're going to win the Big Ten championship, you've got to protect your home floor. You've got to beat a Wisconsin team that is down from last year, even though they've improved. And certainly all the motivation is there for Iowa tomorrow night.
You mentioned those 3 out of 4. Those are going to come in a very quick timeline for the Hawkeyes. There's not a whole lot of time to dwell on how this race is going.
Yeah, they've had this whole week off now to think about the Penn State loss, and so time to have players-only meetings.
Sure.
You know, now there's not much time for anything. 3 games in 7 days, 4 games in 11, depending how you want to look at it, to win the title. I think assuming they can take care of business Wednesday. Tough game at Ohio State. Ohio State's playing really well on Sunday, but regardless, they could be playing and winning a Big Ten championship a week from right now, Tuesday night, at home against Indiana on senior night.
Chad will be covering all of those games, I believe,
yes, sir.
For the Des Moines Register and for Hawk Central. You can check out all his coverage and all of our coverage all week long at hawkcentral.com. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll be back maybe talking Big Ten title picture again over the next couple weeks.
Sounds like a plan.
Thanks.